Hey guys, it's Chris and Caleb here. Happy holidays. As you can see, I'm wearing a Santa hat, so that means it's the holidays.
There you go.
So we got a little bit different stuff going on here today. Wanted to update you on the market. We usually do that first, but we're not going to do that first this time. We're going to do something a little bit different.
Chris, what says Merry Christmas like toilet paper? I mean, come on.
I don't know what else.
No, so you're probably wondering
why. You combine red and green and it's brown, so maybe
wow. Okay, you went there. Anyway, you're probably wondering why we have all this toilet paper on here and why we have these mason jars here. The reason why is we're just trying to do a little bit of a value add for those of you that have septic systems. So I recently bought a house and we have a septic system. I'm used to having public sewer. And so I thought, what kind of toilet paper is the best for your septic system? So we're going to do a little test here today. So what we're going to do, we're going to try 4 different brands of toilet paper. We have good old plain, rough Scott 1000 here.
Sandpaper?
That's a single ply product there, Chris. A single ply. And then we have Cottonelle. This is also single ply, but it feels about 10,000 times softer. We've got Angel Soft. And then
my favorite, Charmin with the bears.
Oh, everybody's favorite.
Oh my.
Anyway, so we're going to test this out, see what it looks like.
Why is this important? Why are we testing this?
Well, it's important because, a lot of different toilet papers will say they're septic safe or what have you. And the reality of it is, septic system, we sell enough houses that we know that literally one of the worst things that can possibly go wrong when you're selling your house is to have the septic system fail. Yeah. So we want to save you money. We don't want your septic system to fail. And so you want to use a product that is going to be safe for your septic system. So what we're doing is we're going to throw 4 squares into each one of these mason jars. We're going to vigorously shake for 10 seconds. And then at the end, that's going to kind of like mimic what it's like for the toilet paper to get into your septic system. So the more it breaks down in those 10 seconds, the better and more septic system safe that toilet paper is going to be.
Cool. So why don't you grab that one and I'll grab this one? We're
going to do 4 squares here. 1, 2.
Is that like the game you play in elementary school, 4 square?
It is nothing like that.
No? You sure?
I fail. I already dropped the lid over there.
Are 4 squares enough of that brand to make sure that you don't get
we're going for
dirty?
it. I don't know. We're just going to roll with that.
I'm just kidding. All right. Make sure you get that on tight.
All right.
Water all over our office. Ready?
Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, that's pretty intact.
There's nothing left. Wow. This Scott is so good for your septic system. I don't know about how good it is on your bottom, but it's great for your septic system. I can tell you that.
Good for your bottom of your fingers. This is like almost completely intact.
That's really interesting.
Huh.
Okay.
All right. 4 squares of this.
Yep. These are both 2 ply, so
I have a feeling they're going to be worse.
They're probably going to be worse than that. Yeah.
So what happens if you use really bad stuff in your septic system?
I mean, I'm not a septic expert, but I'm sure it's going to mean that you probably need to get it cleaned out more often.
Yeah.
And it could possibly cause issues.
I should have told Jeremiah to stick around for this.
Yeah.
That would have been good. All right, ready?
Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's like the shake weight?
9, 10. You had to go there. Interesting.
There's not much left of this one either.
I'm wondering if I'm shaking wrong. Because there's like a good bit left of this one too. Shake this up for a few seconds. I'm just curious. Just in case I'm shaking wrong. Maybe you know how to shake better. Alright, that's good.
There's still a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff.
I think your shaking is
okay.
Good. So.
Alright, so
okay. So here's what I'm going to surmise. This is sandpaper, so you probably don't want to use that. I'm going to say the Angel Soft is the best.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's the best. I mean, the Cottonelle, even though it's 1 ply, that is the worst by far. So, Angel Soft is your winner.
There you go.
For decently soft and septic system safe.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at these two, and these are both, even though it's single ply, it's still pretty thick. This is still fairly thin, but it's not that thin, not Scott thin. So, it's finger safe. That's so gross.
Thank you for bringing it to that level.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Cool. So let's talk about the market. We just put up our stats yesterday, and here's what I'm going to say. There's not really a whole lot new about what the market's doing. It's still softening. It's live. So
with hot chocolate.
hold on. There we go.
Oh, well,
It's
if you
live,
come to
so-
100 Campbell Boulevard, Suite 106, right now, you
There's
can
hot
get free
chocolate.
hot chocolate.
So the inventory accumulation actually, usually this time of the year, it just goes straight down because people are taking the homes off the market. They don't want
Right.
to deal with it because of the holidays, but it actually went up. It went from like 2.4 to like three months worth of inventory, which is still ridiculously low, but it's definitely an indication that it's continuing to soften. And trying to remember,
Is it continuing to soften like the Charmin toilet paper, Chris?
maybe. So anyway, my mind's going. I'm trying to figure out something to say with that. But
Yeah.
no, so I think, I don't know if we talked about this a whole lot last time, but what does this mean for buyers and sellers? If the market is softening and we are, this time, here's what's interesting. I had a thought yesterday that the market is usually headed down. There's less inventory, stuff's coming off the market this time of year anyway. And a lot of the agents that I've talked to continue to say, oh, it's been a great year, I can't wait for next year. But what I think they're going to find is after everything falls in February or March, they're going to be like, man, what the heck? Where are all the multiple offers and things like that? And
Right, I expect the same thing.
yeah, and here's what I want to say for sellers, and we'll talk about buyers. On the seller side, we might have mentioned this last time, but I'm going to say it again. If you're going to sell your home, you better have an agent that knows pricing really, really well. Because what happens is, in a softening market, where's the price? Well, the price is going up or down.
They're going down.
They're going down. And what people are used to, sellers don't realize that the market's shifted yet. So they're like, oh, I'm going to price it high. Maybe it'll sell here, but I could probably get this in a really good market. So they start here, and what happens is that the price is going like this, and like, oh no, we better drop our price. Let's drop it $5,000-$10,000.
Right.
And then it keeps going this, and they're chasing it down.
Chasing. And the thing is, if you're pricing the property, the way you're going to do that is you're going to look at comparables from the last 3 to 6 months. If you're comparing a home that you're listing in the spring with something that happened last fall, that's not really going to be a great comp because the market is changing. And so you need an agent that's going to understand that the market's changing and is going to understand the velocity of your local market in your school district and in your price range, which is the most important thing. And it's going to be more important than ever to make sure your house is staged and shows really well, to make sure your pictures are done professionally and they're done, lots of light and look very bright and are going to look appealing. That's going to get people in the front door. So.
Yeah, so there's a book that Gary Keller, who started Keller Williams, wrote back in 2008, 2009 called The Shift. And honestly, I almost feel in some cases if a seller really wants to learn a few things, there's a few chapters in there that they could pick up and learn about the shifting market and what's going on and how sellers tend to chase that down. And you really could, when's the in a shifted market especially, when is a house worth the most?
Today.
Right, exactly. The day it goes on the market.
Right.
Every day that it goes by, your price goes farther and farther down. And if you don't hit that price right from the beginning, you're doing yourself a disservice. And you possibly, even though it might be hard to hear for a seller to hear that your house isn't worth what it used to be last year or whatever, the best thing to do is to price it aggressively and make sure that you hit that on the head and get it sold within the first, definitely the first 30 days, if not sooner.
And of course, when you do sell your house, if you're looking to buy and sell at the same time, you might sell for a little less than you hoped. You're also going to be able to get a better deal when you buy. So don't worry about that. If you have a desire to sell, we're still going to sell plenty of homes next year in 2019. The market will still be stable and solid.
Yep.
It's just not going to be as hectic as it has been, which if you're looking to buy a house, now you're going to have a little bit more leverage on your side, which is amazing as well. So.
And so for buyers, what does this mean for buyers? It means that you're not going to have to deal with a crazy multiple offers and paying over asking price. That's a great thing. What you don't want to get in the mindset of doing is being like, oh, the seller, it's been on the market for 45 days, 30 days, whatever it is, and be like, oh, I can get a great deal and go in like 10, 15% off asking price. It's not the way it goes. You also need a great agent on your side to say, look, guys, the market is softening and the homes are not going up. But here's the realistic price that if you want to get in a home in a certain time frame, probably within 30 to 60 days, this is the price you need to go in at. Because put yourself in the seller's shoes. You have a price. Let's say it's listed at $300,000, and somebody comes in at like $260. You know, that's 40 grand off, and you're
Right.
like, even if the sellers are unrealistic, you know, it doesn't matter. They're going to perceive that as fairly offensive. I mean, I would assume that you would probably think that too, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we do get a low offer in on our seller clients' homes, I still encourage them to at least make a counter offer,
Yes.
even if the offer is very, very low.
Yeah.
I say, look, don't take it personally. You know, we don't be offended by the people who made the offer. Be offended by the other 10 people who looked through the house and never made you
Yeah.
an offer.
Right.
And yet, when you start off that sequence with a really, really low offer, it's very hard to come to terms with an offer like that, even if the buyer comes up significantly later on. So.
Yeah. So be realistic, seller and buyer side, stay in a good frame of mind. And here's the last thing I'll say as we'll wrap up, is that, you know, now, even though a lot of people are like, I don't want to buy or sell right now because of the holidays, now, between now and like the end of February is probably one of the best times to do it if you're serious about it, because you're going to get serious people. You're not going to have a whole, like the spring, you get a bunch of tire kickers and folks that maybe aren't real serious about it. Oh, the
They have a
weather's
home
warm.
to sell.
Right, they have a home to sell.
Yeah.
So
This is I'm coaching and advising my clients that are looking to list in the springtime. If they're thinking March or April, but they don't have a compelling reason why they need to be March or April, and they could just as well list in January or February, we're having those conversations and saying, hey, look, there's a high likelihood that by the time we get to March, April, and May, you're going to have way more competition and in a softening market. So let's get ahead of that. Let's list the property in January or February when there's almost no competition and no inventory. And oh, by the way, as soon as the new year flips over, that's when everyone starts looking at homes online and they start getting in that whole buying mode and mentality. So you can definitely do yourself a favor and compete with much fewer homes if you're on the market in January or February.
that is correct. So with that said, we're going to wish you, this is the last live video we're going to do, I think, of this year. So it's been a great 2018. Hope it has been for you. And we want to wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and great New Year.
Yes, and this time of year, one of our core values for our team is gratitude.
Yes.
And so we just want to urge you to think about what you're thankful and grateful for. And I know our business, we've been extremely blessed this year, and basically since we started in 2010, we have a lot to be grateful for. We're excited about the people on our team and the things that we're going to be doing, not just this year, but in 2019 as well. So we wish you and your family the best, and think about what you're grateful for.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys. We'll see you later.
All right.